Hey guys, what's up? Plastic Guy here, coming back with another Raimi movie figure review, and today we're taking a look at this spin and kick Spider-Man from Spider-Man 2. You may know that I absolutely love these ToyBiz Spider-Man movie figures. The first two movie figures are just some of my favourite figures in the collection, and I've taken a look at loads of them here on the channel. I've made kind of bigger collection videos, and I've also just made smaller videos like this, taking a closer look at these figures as I've picked them up. I was fairly happy with my collection. I was going to call it a day and just kind of leave it there and then look forward to the future with the new Marvel Legends Spider-Man, the SHF Tobey figure, which is, fingers crossed, going to be arriving very soon. I'm very jealous of everyone in America and around the world opening up those Tobey figures at the moment, and there's no sign here in the UK, but hopefully soon. So I had to film my fix of Tobey figures in the meantime, and as I said, I was fairly happy with my collection, but I was always kind of 50-50 on this spin and kick Spider-Man. There's plenty of the ToyBiz movie figures that I don't have and I'm not really planning on picking up. I'm not a massive fan of the overall look, but this one I was conflicted. It looks really good, the sculpt is there, but it kind of has a wee silly gimmick that a lot of the ToyBiz figures had, and because of the gimmick, I was fairly happy to sleep on this one. But yeah, I kind of changed my mind recently, just hadn't picked up a Raimi figure in a while, and I just kind of told myself if I came across the spin and kick on eBay for cheap, then I'd pick it up. And that was kind of proving a bit hard, especially since No Way Home, these things have been selling for way over 30 quid. But yeah, thankfully the other week managed to pick this one up, and he's finally arrived, so I definitely want to take a closer look at this figure here on the channel. So before we do, let me know down in the comment section below where you rank spin and kick Spider-Man. Is he up there for you? Is he in the top 3, top 5, or is he at the lower end of your list? I'll let you know what I think towards the end of the video, and I definitely want to compare this guy to the other Raimi movie figures, but we'll get to that. Before we jump in, if you could do me a massive favour, as always, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, and let's not wait any longer. Let's take a closer look at this figure. And so this is how he arrived from eBay. No accessories, no original box, of course. I'll try and shove up a picture of the original packaging, but I do think this figure looks like he's in overall good condition. Taking a closer look, we'll start with the head sculpt, and I think the head sculpt looks really good. I mean, I'm sure they just kind of reused the same head sculpt over and over for these Spider-Man 2 movie figures, but it does look nice. You know, not much different going on. I will say here, I think it's just something that's happened over time rather than the previous seller kind of tampering with the figure, but the eyes are a wee bit shiny and yellow. Like, I can't think if I've got another Spider-Man movie figure where the eyes have that kind of sheen to them. Maybe do. There's so many, to be honest, I can't even think. I want to say maybe the aerial attack. Not the aerial attack, what's the other one? The one that flips. We took a look at it on the channel probably most recently, but I think the eyes might be similar there. But most of the time I imagine the eyes being kind of solid white. I'm going to turn the brightness up a wee bit here. Yeah, I think of the eyes being kind of solid white, and these ones have a wee bit of a shine to them, and they're also a wee bit yellowed. So yeah, that's why I think it's just something that's happened over time. It still looks good, I think, and the silver webbing's kind of held up pretty well in this one all over the figure, but the head sculpt looks pretty good. Just a wee bit missing on the nose, where 100% the figure's falling flat on his face, as they often do. So yeah, I definitely rate the head sculpt here. I couldn't figure out if and this is the same on most of the movie figures, I can never figure out if the neck's back to front. It did look better on this side rather than the back here where the webs are closer together. I'm sure this is right. If it's not, let me know down in the comment section below, but I can never really figure it out. That's what I think looks best though. And I guess the webs do match up that way, so I'll keep it like that for the time being. Logo's held up really well, pretty solid Spider-Man logo here, and the silver paint all over this thing has held up really well. In some bits I'm kind of thinking like, has the previous seller maybe touched that up, like if it looks a wee bit sloppy in areas, but I think, I mean, there was nothing in the description that said that the previous seller customized this at all. I think it is just the original paintwork all over this thing. Like, even, I mean, that has to be custom, right? Like, he's definitely painted that on for sure, or has he? I honestly don't know. It kind of looks like he has, but yeah, as I said, there was nothing in the description that kind of admitted to that. Not that it's a bad thing, I do think this looks good. I do like the paint here in the elbow, but do you know what I mean? Like, it kind of looks like maybe it's been painted on after the fact. But yeah, overall it looks really good. I think the silver webbing's held up all over this thing. You can see it in the hands and the fingers. Not much of it has faded away, which is really good. I think the most noticeable is here in the ab crunch area, but everywhere else looks pretty spot on. And as I said, it is kind of hard to tell if maybe some of the lines have went over, or if it is just kind of the original paintwork where it's been a wee bit overkill. But you know, it looks good in my opinion. And then yeah, I suppose we get to the gimmick of this figure. I think looking at it front on looks really good, very similar to the likes of the web trap, but this is the spin and kick Spider-Man, so I'm not too sure what the gimmick is. It looks like his leg here is the same as, and the articulation in this bit here is the same as, I want to call it like the battle flipping Spider-Man, the one I was talking about earlier to do with the eyes. It has like this very statue-like arms up at the top here. It has the same leg articulation. In fact, let me just find that figure now so it will better explain what I'm trying to say here. So yeah, I'll bring in the likes of the web trap and things later on, but here is the, is it the battle flipping? I think that's what it's called, Spidey. And yeah, the eyes are a wee bit shiny here on the battle flipping one, which I was talking about earlier, but yeah, these ones are clearly kind of yellowed from what I'm guessing has been just the time, they've yellowed over time. But yeah, back to the leg articulation. On this one here, the leg kind of goes in and out. It goes forwards and backwards as well, but there's no ball joint here, and we can see that on this leg here. Not on this one. This one has the kind of normal web trap sort of leg, and this one has the battle flipping leg, but it also has a thigh cut, and it moves around. You can hear it clicking, but yeah, I don't know what the gimmick is, essentially. I don't know. There's this bit on the back, and it doesn't do anything. I mean, I'm guessing it did do something at the time 20 years ago, but it doesn't do anything now. And I do think there is tutorials on YouTube on how to take this gimmicky thing off, and it's something I might be tempted to do. I might take this off, I'm not too sure. It is the spin and kick Spider-Man. I'm happy to keep him as the spin and kick Spider-Man and have the gimmick still there, but it is pretty non-functional on this figure. I don't know what it would do, but yeah, it's definitely something I'm thinking about. Just maybe, even if I just cut it off, to be fair. I'm not really bothered about taking the whole figure apart or anything, but if you were looking for a Raimi Spider-Man figure, this one looks really good, but just beware, he's got a massive lump sticking out the back of his leg, and I think that's this figure's biggest downfall for sure. I'm personally not a massive fan of the kind of ToyBiz gimmicks. They've never really appealed to me, and this is a very gimmicky thing on the figure. Feet are just standard. You've got the toe articulation, really nice silver paint around the boots. So yeah, great overall figure, but big sticking out thing on the back of the leg that doesn't even work anymore. So that was why I was a bit 50-50 about this figure, picking it up, but I'm really happy with it overall. So to compare this spin and kick Spidey next to some of our other ToyBiz Raimi movie figures, while he's still here is the battle flipping Spider-Man. And I'm actually surprised that I picked this one up before the spinning kick Spider-Man, because this spinning kick Spidey looks way better than this battle flipping Spidey. I can't remember why I really wanted to pick this one up at the time. I made a full video on him, I'm sure I explained it there. I mean, he does look good in that kind of standard natural pose. He looks like a very good Raimi movie figure, but this one blows it out of the water. I think the sculpt is much better here. The articulation in the arm really shows standing next to one another. Head sculpt, both great on each figure, but even in the legs with the ball joint here, yeah, I think it definitely wins. Going back to the kind of gimmicks, well, they both have ToyBiz gimmicks on them. The arms here are very just non-posable, and this one has the lump sticking out the back of the leg. So if you were deciding on what one of these figures to pick up, you're really asking yourself, you know, what gimmick would you be happy with? And I think this one is a lot better. I think the lack of movement in the arm here really is just going to hold this figure back, whereas this one, you're actually, I mean, standing the way he is, you don't even know he's got that wee stick sticking out. So yeah, definitely give the points to the spinning kick Spidey here. Next up we have the spinning kick Spidey next to, I think this is the super aerial flipping Spider-Man, because there was an aerial flipping and a super aerial flipping. I think this is the super one, and this figure is constantly moving around in my rankings. Like, he is never consistently like number 3, number 4. I can never make my mind up. I always kind of change how much that I like him. Yeah, comparing these two, I'm not too sure. I think the sculpt actually looks better here. Just as I said, like I've definitely praised this figure a lot on the channel before. I do really like him, but when they're standing next to one another, I don't know, like the articulation in the neck shows, the just kind of the way the arms are more sticky out. I don't know, like I actually think this one looks a wee bit better. I do love this figure, and I do like how it is a bit more different than a lot of the other Raimi figures. But yeah, I don't know, I think this one actually looks a bit better. Here is the spinning kick Spider-Man 2 figure next to one of my favourite Spider-Man figures of all time, the Battle Ravaged Spider-Man 1 movie figure. And of course these have the different movie sculpts. This is the superposable Spider-Man 1 sculpt, and then this is more like the web trap from Spider-Man 2 with some wee differences here and there. So yeah, kind of harder to compare, but I did just want to put these two side by side. Here is our spinning kick Spidey next to a superposable Spider-Man 2 movie figure. A lot of people kind of hold the superposable one here on the left at that number 1 spot. Kind of going back to what I said about the super aerial flipping Spidey, all these figures are constantly changing in my rankings. I can never really pick a number 1 or a consistent spot for them. I'm swapping and changing if it's the web trap, if it's the superposable, you know. There is one that I'm getting to that is my favourite of all time, and if you've seen my previous Raimi movie figure videos, you definitely know what that figure is. But yeah, these two side by side, I think the web trap overall looks better than the superposable, but this isn't the web trap, this is the spinning kick. So we do have the gimmick, we do have the change in leg. I think that is enough to put this behind the superposable. I think, of course, I would recommend the superposable over the spinning kick, but it's not as far off as I would have originally thought. I mean, getting this guy in hand, it is a great figure. And if you were to get it, if you were to remove the gimmicky, I keep calling it stick, and you know, whatever it is on the back, if you remove that, this would be a sleek figure. You know, you would have the kind of suffering of the articulation in the leg area here, but it would still be a really good Raimi figure. And yeah, comparing them to the superposable, I think the superposable just takes it, but not by much. And so then, having mentioned the figure so many times in this video, we finally have the web trap next to the spinning kick Spider-Man here. And of course, this is where you can see the similarities between these two. I think if it came down to the spinning kick Spidey and the web trap, you're gonna 100% want to just pick up the web trap. This just looks like the web trap but with a gimmick. There are wee differences here and there, like the neck, and I do think that does make a wee bit of a difference, but not much. You've kind of got the I mean, that is just a sort of standard ball. It's not a ball joint, but it is same idea. It's just the disc hinge here in the neck, and the peg going up, whereas this is more like the superposable neck articulation. So that is definitely a difference worth noting between the two. The arms, I'm not going to run over the articulation of the spinning kick because it is just very similar to the other Raimi movie figures that we've looked at many a time. But the arms, you can see, are very close in at the body. You know, you can move them all around, but they go right in there. These ones don't go any further into the body, so they're always kind of sticking out like that. I do think that looks really good though. I actually kind of like how they lie, but it is worth noting that the range of movement here in the web trap is a bit better. So yeah, the arms, the neck, same kind of body. Of course, the leg area here. Everything else seems to be pretty much the same. So I would say web trap is better than the spinning kick. But if you're struggling to get the web trap, if folk are trying to sell the web trap for a crazy amount of money and you see a spinning kick for a lot cheaper, then definitely pick this thing up because it looks fantastic. And I actually kind of like how the neck looks on this, with it being a bit different. But as I said, it doesn't make too much of a difference at all. And then, having just said that I'm never consistent on my rankings here, that is a wee bit of a lie, because the Pizza Scooter Spider-Man has always been at that number one spot. I mean, it is just the perfect Spider-Man 2 movie figure. I think it just looks a lot sleeker. It kind of takes the good things about the web trap and makes it look more presentable. It just looks that wee bit cleaner. And I mean, what else can you ask for? I think the superposable is really cool. I think it does look really good, but I've said time and time again, it just looks a bit disjointed. It looks a bit clunky, not very natural. The web trap kind of improves on that, but it definitely has a bulkier look to it. And then you get the Pizza Scooter Spider-Man, and it's just great. It's got the articulation you need and a really clean sculpt. So this has always been at the number one spot for me. And that's why I really can't wait for the SHF Spider-Man movie figure, because this was kind of the last time I think we got a Tobey Maguire head sculpt in that 6-inch scale. If you want to see more of the Pizza Scooter figure, then feel free to check out my video on him. I'll definitely be doing a more in-depth comparison when that SHF figure arrives. But yeah, this came with the Tobey Maguire head sculpt, and yeah, I don't think we've got a Tobey head sculpt since then in the 6-inch scale, and the SHF figure looks like they've absolutely nailed it. It just looks like the perfect upgrade from the Scooter Spidey, and I just have a feeling that the SHF is going to be one of my favourite figures of all time. Like, I cannot explain how much hype I have for that figure arriving, so I hope it's soon. But in the meantime, we're still looking at the spinning kick. So yeah, I mean, even them two standing next to one another, the spinning kick is looking really damn good. I think this is actually a really good Raimi figure. Having compared him to some of the others here, he's definitely a top contender. He's not going to be at the bottom of the list. And yeah, let's wrap up the video on that note. So yeah, out of my whole Spider-Man movie figure collection, I'm not quite sure what place this is going to take, but it is certainly not a bad Raimi movie figure, and I think I was actually kind of harsh on it just for having the kind of gimmick that it does. Having him in hand, it doesn't get in the way too much. I think I'm going to keep it on the figure for the time being, but when I pose this round for some photos for my Instagram, I'll probably just edit that wee bit out. I think that's probably the easiest option at the moment, and then it's still the spinning kick Spidey, but like in hand anyway. But then yeah, when I pose him around and things, I don't have to let that kind of get in the way of the look of this figure, which I think it does overall. But this thing looks fantastic. I think the sculpt is there. is very similar to the likes of the Web Trap, wee differences, but it looks really good. So if you are still looking for a Raimi movie figure, I would definitely recommend this piece right here. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. While you're down there, guys, if you could do me a massive favour, as always, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button. I'll leave the link to my Instagram in the description below, where I'll definitely be posting some pictures of this Raimi Spider-Man up over there. Feel free to hop on over to the channel page as well, because there are loads of Raimi movie figure reviews over there, and I've taken a closer look at the majority of them. I don't think there's too many now that I don't have, and yeah, as I kind of said, I think this will probably be the last ToyBiz Raimi figure that I pick up. And I have the Marvel Legends pre-ordered, I've got the SHF pre-ordered, so definitely keep your eyes peeled for those videos, because as soon as they arrive, I'll be posting here on the channel. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching this video right here, and as always, I'll catch yous on the flip-flop later. Cheers.